older games that don't have saves. You have to start over.
It was a thing.
It's a
but
real
it,
fear.
It forces you to learn it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you get good.
Repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition.
Forces you to get good.
Kids don't know that these days.
Don't.
It's by kids, I mean.
It taught us to be tough.
Yeah.
It taught us to grow up and be tough.
Video
Kids
games
now, they're not
made
tough.
us tough.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that term. Video games have made us
They
tough.
did. They taught us to be resilient. Not give up.
Welcome back to Texas Tea. I'm here with David Cohen of Replay Games. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem.
So grateful that the Mortal Kombat machine eventually quieted down.
It takes a little while.
It's older and crotchety, and it really wants you to play.
It's the attract mode.
It's the attract. Just they
That's
pull
what it
you.
is.
Really, that's what it is.
That's what it is. It's so people, you're walking by and you hear it like, whoa, cool, it sounds awesome.
I was very attracted to watch you just like crush it for a while. So when kids come into your store, do you just crush them on MK2 and then send them home, or what?
I do. At one point I was offering free gift cards if anyone could beat me.
Really?
But of course no one could beat me. It was just, to get people.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, it's still a thing.
So we're over here at Replay Games in the Heights. So if you come in and if you can beat Dave at Mortal Kombat 2, he'll give you a free gift card.
Yes.
Of what, $3, $2?
I usually say 25.
25. That's much better than $3 originally. What I said. So
no one's ever won. So it's all right. You gotta call it though. You gotta say, okay, this is for real. 2 out of 3, go. So you gotta call it.
Gotta call it. 2 out of 3,
Yeah.
go. You heard him right there. $25
so
gift
so
card.
You know you're playing for real.
For real.
Yeah.
So attract mode off. Now we've got some silence in the background, so that was good. How long were we here for that to wait for?
5. I think it was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It wasn't long. It felt longer.
It felt like eternity.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes.
Just in general, whenever anyone's around me, it feels like eternity to them. But anyways, man, I got a lot of questions about retro games in general. I have a kind of a random one that I think I know the answer to. But what do you think is the reason people keep going back to the classics?
2 things. First, nostalgia, of course.
Right, of course.
I mean, everyone wants what they grew up with,
Right, of course.
But the big thing really is because modern games, I won't say they suck, but most of them kind of suck. I mean, it's just modern games are different than old games. Modern games, it's all about story and looking cool or making you feel like you're powerful, and there's not much of a challenge to it. You lose and you just hit start and keep going. And there's no real challenge. And yeah, don't talk to me about Dark Souls. That's not a challenging game. It's a boring game.
Oh, shit.
So it's not difficult. It's just tedious. But yeah, there were games were a challenge when I was a kid, and I think people go back for the challenge. They go back for the nostalgia, and I could sit there and play a game all day where I'm going for a high score. I'll never get bored. But you put me in front of Grand Theft Auto, I'll be done in 5 minutes, and I'm bored real quick. So.
You're like dissing a whole.
Ouch!
Yikes!
Yeah.
Yikes! They're gonna come for me, and you're just gonna crush them over
It's
here.
true. So they're gonna come and buy Grand Theft Auto though, so it's okay.
Hey, it's fine. There you go.
I'll sell it. I don't have to like it. I'll sell it.
So you don't have to
It's
like
fine.
it. Hey, we love electricity, and we sell it, by the way. I didn't ask you this before. Have you ever played EverQuest?
I never have. I've
Speaking
never
of hard
ever
games.
played EverQuest. It came out at a time when I was very busy. I was starting my adulting at that time.
Yeah.
So, and I was never really big into PC stuff. So it was a mix of those 2 things. EverQuest. I think it was a different crowd back then too. Now kind of everybody's on PC and playing on computer, but back then. There was a divide. There was a divide, The
PC gamers, they were just rode hard for PC against console.
It's true. It's true.
It's very different.
There were factions. We were all against each other. But yeah, I never played EverQuest.
The only reason why I brought it up is just I remember as a kid the level of difficulty compared to now is just insane. Where you had true fear. Like you're like, oh my god, like I'm gonna.
Because you could lose all your stuff, right?
Yeah.
What it was.
Well,
like,
you lost
die,
experience when you died. Like you literally would grind for hours and upon hours, and then you like have a false step, like and you take like falling damage, and it was like a glitch, and then like the game managers won't be able to like fix it for you. And next thing you know, you've lost like 2 days of work. It was real loss, real fear of loss. But I feel like the games now too, especially older games that don't have saves. You have to start over.
It was a thing.
It was a real fear.
It forces you to learn it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you get good.
Repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition.
Forces you to get good.
Kids don't know that these days. Don't. It's by kids, I mean.
It taught us to be tough.
Yeah.
It taught us to grow up and be tough.
Video games
now, they're not
made
tough.
us tough. I don't think I've ever heard that term. Video games have made us tough.
They did. They taught us to be resilient. Not give up.
So next time, if you're a child under the age of 16 and your parents are giving you a tough time about video games, tell them that retro games make you tough. And
true. Think about how hard it was to beat Mario on one life. You know?
That's true.
That's what you gotta do.
That's real talk. Those are the days.
Yeah. How hard is it to beat Contra without 30 lives?
That's like the equivalent of saying I walked uphill twice in snow.
Yeah.
Like this is the video gamer talk of that.
Yeah. That's true.
Speaking of like hard and getting all these things done, I know you had called me a cheater because I like Game Genie.
Yes.
But we'll get back to that. But a buddy of mine asked a question. He wanted your thoughts, kind of like, I think it was, what was the name of it? Twin Galaxies.
Yes.
And the documentaries they had on some of the classic games and the cheating and the stuff going on there. Like, what do you think about that whole situation? Like, what does it take someone to cheat at a video game?
When you don't have much else in your life that you really care about, I can see the motivation to really, get your name out there and want to be known as the best. People will go to such lengths. So I can see it.
So like emulators were like the performance enhancing drugs.
Exactly. You gotta play for real. No cheating. No Game Genies. No emulators. You gotta play for real.
No gaming PEDs. But there were legitimate adapters and legitimate peripherals, as you call them, that you could use. What was if you had one go-to that you used?
So I would say the Power Glove was my favorite.
Power Glove.
But really, I mean, it was good for Super Glove Ball, and that was about it. Super Glove Ball was the only real fun game with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would play Mario. I played Bubble Bobble with it. Bubble Ball was really fun with the Power Glove. Okay. But it's kind of you don't really play that much with the Power Glove. It loses its appeal pretty quick. So if it was something I used the most back in the day, probably the Power Pad, the NES Power Pad. Running on that thing. I got one sitting over there. If anybody wants a Power Pad, I think it's like $40. We used to be drenched in sweat playing track and field, or not track and field, world-class track meet and Super Team Games. Super Team Games is the best. That is an awesome game. We would just be blown up playing that game, drenched in sweat.
Oh my god! I feel like
fantastic. That was our exercise.
Power Pad was the original actual esports.
Yeah.
It was actually a real sport.
Yeah. I mean, before DDR, before Dance Dance Revolution, we had a Power Pad. Man, that was the best.
I feel like DDR was the first arcade game that made it almost really cool to go to the arcade in a whole entire crowd outside of us.
Yeah. I mean, it depends who the crowd was,
That's true.
It depends who the crowd was. There was I thought it was pretty cool seeing everybody be good at DDR, but then you step off the DDR machine and you're the really sweaty person in the big crowd. So then it's not so cool anymore.
Yeah. Being sweaty in an indoor AC location, playing a video game isn't really the coolest thing.
It's cool to an extent, and then it's not cool.
Yeah, you're really on stage at that moment, and then you get off and you're so people are asking you if you ran a mile, and you're like, no.
The glory fades. Right
you just have instant shame. You're like, oh god, this is my third shirt today. It's really bad. Oh my, DDR. So, what was the other thing? I was gonna go straight into Smash Brothers because I know that's a big game. Almost everyone I've always talked to,
Everyone loves Smash.
Everyone loves Smash.
It's hard to hate Smash.
Yeah, it's really hard because it's such a bring people together type of game.
And it's good if you suck. It's good if you're awesome. It's just good. It's just fun no matter what.
Yeah, but you have to have a good crowd you want to be around.
That's right.
We talked
That's
about.
right.
So who's your favorite Smash Bros?
Bowser, easily. Bowser's my dude.
Yeah.
Easily, yeah. Bowser's my favorite. Bowser in Melee, Bowser in the new Smash.
But like,
it's always Bowser.
But like Kirby, yo.
No, not Kirby. Too floaty. I don't like floaty characters. I like heavy fatties. Heavy fatties. Every game, Mario Kart, Smash, always the fatty. Street Fighter, use Honda, always the fatties.
So you hear that, guys? Dave, big on the fatty characters, not a fan of the floaty characters.
Yes, always.
Somehow I'm a fan of the floaty characters, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay.
The finesse,
okay.
you know?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cheater and finesse.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. It's just what I like.
Not cheating and not trying or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just trash. But the other thing I had someone ask that was a really specific question. I know we're having kind of like random fun questions, but someone actually asked me, you come in here, you're gonna buy an older system. Obviously, TVs are completely different now than they were. How do you make sure that it's just not absolute hot garbage on the newer TV?
So I have at the shop, I have HDMI adapters that plug directly into the consoles to play games in HDMI, to play the old systems in HDMI.
Yeah.
There's expensive ones you can get. You can get ones that are like $200, $300, adapters that are $300, $400 to make it look even better.
Right.
But the ones I have are like the lower end ones. They're like $30 and they work. They make it look better. But they're not, super fancy. They're not gonna upscale it to 1080p and make the colors exact as they should be.
Right.
The colors might be slightly darker. It might only upscale it to 720 instead of 1080. Not gonna be in 4K. But for most of my customers, it's perfectly good and better, a million times better than playing just through AVs on HDTV, because AVs on HDTVs just look like total garbage. They're good. It works. I also sell CRT TVs, so if anyone wants an old school TV and you want to play the games the way they should be played on a CRT, I also sell those.
Got you. So get the real real experience.
Yes.
And I don't know if you have or not, and this is another random thing. Did you play Half-Life?
I have played it. I've never played from start to finish, but I have played it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know the Half-Life series never finally finished.
Yeah.
Do you hear about it? Like, for something so popular, in your view, how did they not finish it?
Because they're making enough money doing other things, and Valve doesn't care enough to continue it. Like I think they feel a lot of pressure to do it right, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm sure the game is at least half done. It probably has been for the last 10 years, But I have a feeling they want to get it right, and they're gonna wait till they need a new big thing.
Right.
And it'll come out eventually, I'm sure.
I heard someone was able to get what was made from them, and there's like a rogue group that's like gonna make the ending. So
Interesting.
I'm very excited about that. All right, I want to make sure that I don't miss everyone's questions here, because I had a lot of questions. So, by the way, thanks for everyone. Oh, what are your top 3 games?
Oh, so difficult.
Top 5.
So, whenever I get asked this question, I like to categorize it into like top 5 multiplayer, top 5 single player. But if I can't do that, I would have to say
right on the spot.
Top 5. Number 1's got to be Tetris. So
with you saying that number 1 is Tetris, you have solidified the fact that there's no one else that should run this store.
All right, good. Because
I had my doubts coming in here.
No, Tetris has to be number 1, and not the stupid Nintendo version on NES. That version sucks. I don't care if that's what they played. Tetris World Championships. That game is garbage. So there's way better versions of Tetris. The Nintendo DS Tetris is one of the best. I like Tengen Tetris on NES if you're playing on NES. Tetris 99 on the Switch is awesome.
Yeah.
Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch. Just play that one. But yeah, not Nintendo Tetris on NES. That version of Tetris is trash. Nobody needs to be playing that game. Game Boy Tetris, the original Game Boy Tetris, that it's wonderful. It's near perfect. Anyway, Tetris, number one.
Number one.
Just not that Nintendo version.
Number 2.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Obviously.
Mortal Kombat 2.
I was surprised.
Best game ever. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, shit.
Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, best game ever for, 2-on-2 or for 1-on-1 competitive play, 2-player. Yeah. Mortal Kombat 2 is the best. And if people don't agree, then they haven't played somebody good in Mortal Kombat 2.
Right.
Yeah, they haven't seen the competition that could come from that game. It's pure skill. Yeah. It's a pure skill game. No randomness. It's a pure game. So
less sweating.
Yeah, less sweating. But yeah, Tetris, Mortal Kombat 2. I have to throw Mario on there. I'd probably say Mario 3 if I had to choose.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
But, Mario World is good too. But I love me some Mario 3.
I'd have to say Mario, the original Mario's, not to interject here, it seems that, that was one of the few games that, they continuously, got it right.
Oh, yeah.
In the early ones.
The only bad Mario, really, in my opinion, is Mario Odyssey on the Switch. Sorry if people love that game. Sorry if the game got 10s. That game sucks.
Really?
As a Mario game, it's probably better than 90% of the other games that come out these days. Man, Mario Odyssey is not a good game on the Switch.
Your view is slightly biased, though.
I don't know. I love the Zelda on Switch.
Oh,
I thought Zelda on Switch was the best 3D Zelda that ever got released. Oh. So I just thought the Mario was really bad. No, it's good.
No?
It's good. I would say it's number 3. I would go Breath of the Wild on Switch, Wind Waker on Cube, and then Ocarina on 64.
I just remember I spent so many lunches as a kid.
Oh,
with that game. That has a lot of...
Yeah. I was a little older when it came out, so I just don't have as much nostalgia for it. I was probably 17 or 18 when it came out, so I still played through it all the way, and I loved it, but I was still like, Link to the Past is the best.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I loved Wind Waker. Wind Waker was just awesome. I loved the art style, and I loved the gameplay. It was just it felt less sluggish and chunky, and it was all pretty and slick. And Breath of the Wild is just awesome. So, yeah, speaking of which, I should probably throw Zelda on the list.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'm going to. Top 10. Zelda would be top 10.
So Mario
Breath of the Wild would probably be top 10.
Mario 3 at 3.
Yeah, Mario 3 would be number 3. I'd probably throw another NES game on there too. Probably Ninja Gaiden 1 or Bionic Commando. I love both those games.
Ninja Gaiden 1.
It's tough. Yeah, I would go Ninja Gaiden 1. God, that game's really good. I love that game.
The age I was at then was I has spotty memory of that game.
Oh, it's just and they talked about a strong nostalgia game for me. Seeing the intro sequences when that game came on, that was the first time ever that I saw anything like that.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and then the game was awesome. So it was a mix of a cool vibe and seeing something that felt cinematic and felt there was weight to what you're doing in the story.
Yeah.
It was cool, and then the game just being so badass and slick, it was a perfect game. So Ninja Gaiden 4, and I would probably go with something else, probably multiplayer at 5. So hard to pick just 5. I would probably go with, it's probably between Power Stone and Soul Calibur 2. I'd probably go Power Stone on the Dreamcast.
Oh, man.
Power Stone Dreamcast. I think that wins.
I think you're alienating the audience with the Dreamcast.
No, man. People love the Dreamcast. Really? I think you're not giving Dreamcast enough credit.
I think I just have a weird hatred that I couldn't get it as a kid.
I don't know. The Dreamcast it shone brightly for about 2 years then just went away. But man, when the Dreamcast was out, that thing felt like the future. I hadn't had that feeling I was playing the future. The last time I had that was going from Atari to NES. Yeah. Nothing felt like such a leap until the Dreamcast to me. 64 and PlayStation felt this is what 3D is going to be like. I wasn't on board. When the PlayStation and 64 came out, I was not into it. Like, I had a 64, and I thought PlayStation looked like trash. I was very anti-Sony because I just thought it looked so bad.
Yeah.
And 64, not that it looked good, but it was still Nintendo, you know.
Right.
I liked Mario, Wave Race, F-Zero, I liked all that stuff, but I just was not on board for the 3D stuff.
Yeah.
But then the Dreamcast came out and was like, yeah, that game could run some 3D. It was beautiful. And the games are great, like Power Stone, Soul Calibur. There's so much good stuff that came out day one, like NFL 2K. There was just a lot of good day one games, House of the Dead.
Oh my God.
You know, from
House of the Dead.
That it just built. There's so much other good stuff. All kinds of good shooters and fighters and just great stuff. Bangai-O. You ever played Bangai-O? That's a game. Play some Bangai-O on Dreamcast. Ooh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
So Dave is obviously a Dreamcast fan. So you just jump over N64. I might be able to get an unpopular opinion out of you right now.
Yeah, let's do it. I love having the dissenting opinion. Let's go.
GoldenEye overrated?
I like GoldenEye a lot, but Perfect Dark is better. I love Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is probably my favorite 64 game.
It's really funny that you bring Perfect Dark up because I was hoping we got to talk about Perfect Dark.
One of my favorite games.
Because I don't know if anyone's ever played Perfect Dark against the bots on the highest difficulty level.
Challenge 30. Do you play the challenges?
It's been a while. I once remember I didn't own the 64.
Yeah.
So I was only doing it, but I remember we'd play matches with AI.
Yes.
And I distinctly remember them being able to split-second crouch.
Oh yeah.
And just terminate me from the furthest.
They were nasty.
It was just insane.
So I want everyone to do this who has access to it. If you have access to a 64 and Perfect Dark, you need to play the challenges. And I don't know if you remember, but you would go into the it was the what is the name of it? It's the multiplayer mode. You go into the multiplayer mode, the simulator, the battle simulator, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Go into that, and then one of the options there is challenges. There's 30 challenges, and at every challenge, when you first start off, there's only like 4 or 5 of them that you could even play.
Yeah.
And every challenge is a mixture of 1, 2, 3, or 4 players against computer bots.
Yeah.
And if you beat challenge 1 with 1 player, you get 1 star. You beat it with 4 players, you get the 4th star.
Yeah.
But you don't get the 2nd or the 3rd star. You have to beat it with every combination of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh yeah.
And to get every star. So once you beat challenge 1, you'll unlock another one, or 2 and 3, you'll unlock another one. There's 30 total. And the last like 6 or 7 are super difficult, and it's like the hardest bots. And it'll be like the 4 of you. It's always hardest with 4 people. So it'll be like the 4 of you against maybe like 6 other computer controlled bots on the expert. It'll be like expert sim, and you'll have like 1 or 2 helper bots on your team too.
Yeah.
But they don't help you. You have to protect them. So they're actually like every time they get shot, the computer's scoring another point or helping them to capture a base because the computer sucks. Like your team, like you have like a dumb sim. I don't know what their name is, but their name is like dumb sim or whatever. So it actually drags you down with them on your team. So you're protecting them and trying to do the objective and trying to kill the computer players, and it's so much fun. It's so good, and of course because there's so many bots going at the time, and you've got 4 people running the split screen. The game is chugging. It's chugging hard. It is. But that's part of the challenge, and we did it. Like this was like my college years when this came out. So, you know, we beat it with every combination, 1, 2, 3, and 4 players, and we would go back and still play more because it was just so much fun. We would play challenge 30. Like we'd be bored on a Friday night with nothing to do. We'd be like, let's play challenge 30. Like, this is the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, Perfect Dark is a million times better than GoldenEye. I love GoldenEye for what it is. But for multiplayer, Perfect Dark is the best. Yeah. It's just GoldenEye plus.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is.
Well, I think people would always argue that it's not as good as the classic, but they just improved on it.
Yeah, it's GoldenEye and more.
And GoldenEye and more. Yeah. I think they remade GoldenEye too.
They did. It's not that great. I mean, it's okay, but it's not. I think it shows that GoldenEye was never that amazing in the first place. But they redid Perfect Dark. On the 360, you can download a digital version of Perfect Dark, running at 60 frames per second. And it's 8 players online if you want to play. It's still available. I think it's like $10.
Oh, wow.
And it's all up res to look really good.
Yeah.
And play is awesome. It's just a little less challenging because things are running at the proper
Yeah,
frame rate.
Yeah.
But you could see that as being a good thing. It probably is a good thing. I still get some kind of charm out of the sluggish frame rate, but
it's part of the game.
yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
But it is really, really good on 360. So if you have any access to either of them, get that game. It's so good.
Yeah.
And play the challenges. You gotta play the challenges. And good single player and co-op. You can play co-op.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
I just didn't get enough time with it. GoldenEye is definitely one of my favorite, just because I have so many nostalgic times.
And I do too. I mean, I beat everything on Perfect Agent, or that was Perfect Dark. What was the GoldenEye? 00, yeah, 007 Agent or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's good.
There's like no other. There are games like that but I feel like there's not as many games where there's.
It doesn't have like
replay.
Yeah, replay.
And you don't want to.
It doesn't have the charm of the old games.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess you can keep playing Call of Duty, but like you're just playing online against a bunch of kids screaming.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So speaking of like things that obviously can't be replicated, but if you were to choose a game to be completely redone with new graphics,
I like this question.
What would it be?
Well,
I had one good question.
So the easy answer is Mortal Kombat 2. I want it redone with not just fancy polygon graphics. I want digitized actors. I want all the frames of animation retaken with digitized shots.
Yeah.
I don't want extra frames of animation. I want the same exact frames of animation, just high res.
Okay.
And just throw on maybe a few new characters. And that would be my perfect game.
Just keep it 2D?
Yeah, keep it 2D.
Okay.
Just add extra characters, extra moves, extra stages, fatalities. Yeah. That would be my perfect remake.
Okay.
And everyone who's been in the shop and have talked to me about Mortal Kombat 2, they know I have a mod in the machine right now, which kind of does that. Adds some of the hidden characters, makes them playable.
Yeah.
And it has 2-on-2 battles, so it's like Marvel vs. Capcom, but with Mortal Kombat, which is kind of awesome. So that's the closest they've gotten to doing that, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Yeah.
So come play that. I'm like one of 5 arcades in the country where you can play this thing. So not that I'm an arcade, but I'm one of 5 places that have the arcade machine of Mortal Kombat 2 Plus. So it's glorious.
Did you ever think of? I've noticed there's a trend.
Yes.
Bars plus arcades.
Yes. So I had plans to open one.
Oh, shit.
It was a year and a half ago. I was planning on doing it, and my buddy who I was going to do it with, he backed out last second. We actually had the location and everything all set. He backed out at the last minute, and I didn't want to do it without him because I do this full time, and I wouldn't have been able to do it myself. And he runs a bar. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing with that stuff.
Right.
He owns arcade machines. He was going to basically go halfsies with the arcade machines and run the bar for me.
Yeah.
And without him, I didn't feel safe doing it. So it kind of fell through. But one day I may still go back to it. But yeah, it was going to happen. There was a plan. But
yeah, I was thinking if anyone was going to do it, this would make all the sense.
Dude, I would still love to do it. If anyone wants to manage a bar, anyone has bar experience,
right?
That's my thing. I don't know how to run a bar. I don't trust myself to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can have like a side store.
Oh, trust me. I thought about all this. I was gonna move the shop
purchases.
Yeah, I was gonna move the shop from its current location and move it next to the bar. You could trade in games toward alcohol.
Oh my God!
It would be perfect.
That's it right there.
I was gonna do it.
That's it right there. I was gonna do it,
but yeah, maybe one day.
You're like
one day in the future.
You're gonna like GameStop people. They're like, hey, get like 1 game for 1 beer. You're like, no, 37 games, you get a shot of beer.
Exactly. It wouldn't be that bad.
No. I saw a meme. It was just like GameStop getting sold for $4.32.
Yeah, it's happening. They are going down, and nothing makes me happier to see them fail. Yeah, I managed GameStop stores for a while back in the day. I was managing my first real job. I was managing a software etc. store. when GameStop bought them.
Yeah.
About it was like a year into my job. GameStop bought software, etc. And it was so sad, like transitioning to be GameStop. I'm like taking down all the cool stuff from inside the software, etc.
Yeah.
And like taking down the cool signs and the cool kiosks and TVs that we had, and removing all the Nintendo and Genesis and Super Nintendo games to put all new junk up. It was horrible. But that's GameStop for you. And now GameStop wishes they still had all that awesome old stuff to sell, and they're here languishing, trying to sell PS4 and Xbox One games to nobody. Buy some Funko Pops. Everyone loves Funko Pops. Those things are so ugly.
I don't even know what that is. What is
you don't know those little vinyl figures with the like little with the fat heads and little eyes? Those ugly things. That's like all GameStop sells now. Is that?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You walk in and it's like
they made a version that was ma'am. They made.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was real. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
They had a good idea.
It was like some kind of meme
to make it collectible. That was a good idea. If you were to make something that was rare and collectible based on video game culture, what would it look like?
Based on the culture?
No, just based on games and characters and so on and so forth. Something like what that happened, but how would you encompass people's favorite characters?
I mean, the closest thing that I could think of to what I would do is probably already been done with amiibos. You know, you use them for things in the game, but also as like a little statue.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I would have done, because the only other thing you could do is, at least in my opinion, is make like collectible trading card type things.
Yeah.
And they've done that too, and put amiibo chips in them.
Right.
So they've already done that. I don't think there's anything I could do like that that's not already been done.
Right.
I don't know. Everyone's kind of thought of all the collectible things already to capitalize and make easy money on. You know.
That's true.
Like we were talking about selling Magic cards, $40 a deck or whatever.
Yeah.
What does it cost them to make that? Like 25 cents.
Yeah,
you know, like
true.
it's
so little. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. But
ridiculous.
it's all kind of been done though. So yeah, that's what I would think to do. Make like a trading card thing where you have like, and they have this already too, like where there's like fighting game characters, different, because I love fighting games.
Right.
There's different decks for different characters, different fighting games, and you could combine them all and play them together, and it kind of plays like a fighting game. But they make it already. They exist. Yeah. David Sterlin, who's a big fighting game dude in the community, he made one of those, and I think there's a couple of them out there now. But I don't really mess with card stuff. But I kind of know of it, you know. But it exists. But that's kind of what I would like to do if it wasn't already done.
Yeah. One last question, kind of two-part question.
Yeah.
And I had someone ask this. What pushes up the value of an old school game?
It's multiple things. I mean, it's demand and supply. Obviously, is the easy way to say it. You know, if something only had 10 or 20,000 copies printed toward the end of a system's run, then it was rare then, and just it was rare and just because nobody wanted it then, But now, people come back around and they realize, oh hey, that was pretty cool, like I bought like one of the big ones now is like Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Sega Saturn. That game, I bought that game the day it came out on the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
It's $50. Now that game is like $1,000 or $1,200 for a mint condition copy, something like that. I stole my copy I bought for $50, but because they only made, the rumor is like 12,000 or something copies of it. That is just so rare.
Yeah.
And everyone realized it was this masterpiece. But back then everyone was playing PlayStation. No one's on the Saturn. It was one of the last games to come out on the Saturn. But now everyone recognizes, oh hey, it's awesome and it's never been re-released. We want to play it. So it's all supply and demand. But the demand builds up for different reasons. It might be someone makes a YouTube video that's really popular, and that might give it some popularity, or it might just be, something that people never realized was good, and they somehow find out about it, and the word spreads. Or something like, like lately, a good example, when Banjo was announced for Smash, I had such an influx of people coming in looking for Banjo on 64. That game, it went up in value a little bit. It's not crazy expensive. It's like a $40 to $50 game now. But before that, it was like $25 to $30 game, and there was just such demand for it that that it went up.
Right.
So it's things like that'll bring it up, and there's plenty of copies of that game out there.
Yeah.
But everyone wants it all at the same time.
Right.
So that's the the demand part of it. And something like Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube, when Smash came out on Wii U, not a lot of people had Wii U, and it kind of started people thinking about, oh hey, I used to have Smash on the GameCube. Let me get that one again. And then people started playing it competitively again, and some might say it never went away. I mean, I always loved Melee, but because of such crazy demand for that game, it still stays expensive. It goes between usually $70 and $85 for that game, and a lot of that too is nostalgia, because the kids who grew up with GameCube, they're getting to be that age now where they have some disposable income. So it's happened with every console generation. When I was in my early 20s, it was NES, and then I saw it happen with Super NES. It happened a few years ago with N64, and now GameCube is what it's happening with. So all the GameCube games have shot up in price recently because that's what the kids who are now adults want. This is what they grew up with. But different factors, but it all comes down to supply and demand. It's just what causes the demand to change is interesting. Because even for games that there were a lot of copies made of, if the demand is enough, it's still going to sell out every time I get it in. Be here for a day, then be gone. Like Pokemon games never last. Though I've got a few of them in stock right now. But Pokemon games never last more than a few days here, because everyone just has the nostalgia for Pokemon. I mean, they sold millions upon millions of Pokemon games.
Crazy.
Yet I can't keep more than 2 or 3 copies in at a time, and within a week all those will be gone anyway, even if I do have multiples.
And they keep making new ones too, which is wild.
Yeah, and they always sell a lot, so it's...
How come, side tangent, why do you think the Pokemon app basically failed?
I don't think it failed. It was super. It was we're getting looks. It was super duper popular for a while, and everyone was playing it. And now there's definitely less people playing it, but there's still a lot of people who play. I mean, there's still meetups. There's still Pokestops. I think I'm still a Pokestop. I think that's what they call it.
Oh, okay.
Where you come in and you could get. I don't know. I don't play Pokemon. But it's still popular. I don't think it failed. I think they had a little I don't know, it was like a recovery period from the huge ups that it had when it first came out. And there wasn't a lot of new stuff happening with the app. In the couple months following the release, so it kind of waned in popularity, but then they started making new stuff for it, and it's free. And they still make money off of it, even though it's free. So it's still a thing. It's not that popular with me personally, but I don't really love the original Pokemon games either. It's just me. Right. But I would say it's still really popular.
Call me wrong, man. Second part of that question. Last question, because I know I got to run out of here. It's a little bit late, and I'm keeping you from your burger.
It's all right. Burger Joint is open until midnight on weekdays, and they close at 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Plug for Burger Joint.
Slight plug right there, yeah. So
we got time.
So a little bit of time. I saw that you had a super expensive game up there.
Yes.
What's the most? Well, 2 things. What's the most expensive game you've sold or seen, and then also, what's the likely game that someone might have that's dusted away that they should try to look for?
Ooh, that's a good one. So the most expensive game that I've actually sold, had a few copies. So I've been here about 5 years. Had Snatcher on Sega CD about 3 times, and at the shop, that one usually now for a mint condition copy usually goes for about $900. And it's sold. It's never lasted more than a couple days every time I got it in. And I've had
the one that's $2,500.
Yeah, that one hasn't sold yet. We don't. I don't really count it because it hasn't sold yet.
Oh, okay.
It's at the I don't really want to sell it price.
Oh.
But it does in my mind, it's worth that. But
yeah.
is it going to sell for that? I don't know. But I won't be sad if it never. I won't be upset if it never sells. You know? But the other one was Jack Bros on Virtual Boy.
Oh.
That one is another like $900 game when it's
Yeah.
like mint condition, complete in the original box. I've had
Yeah.
that one 2 or 3 times. It's another good one. Ninja 5.0. Ninja 5.0 usually sells for between 5 and 900. That one's all over the place,
Yeah.
but complete
So
in
do
box, it could sell up to
do you,
like 900 or 1,000.
Do you put the whole inventory online too? Or?
No, none of it. You gotta come to the shop. I looked into it.
Yeah.
Too much work. Too much work. I do everything myself. Too much work to do that.
Yeah.
It's there's programs you can use and all kinds of stuff that you can. It's possible, but it's a lot of work, and you know, I'll have something cool and then it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Someone will have seen it online. By the time they get here, it's gone, and you know, even if it updates in real time, you know, it's.
Plus, it,
you know.
it kills the excitement of the same
Exactly.
excitement you have as a kid.
Exactly. It's cool to just come in the shop and see what's here. It's part of the fun. Yeah. So.
All right, before we go out, are there a number of games that you'd love to shout out to that are trash that might upset people so we can
Stuff that I like to call trash.
Yeah.
That everyone
really
else loves.
I just want to really.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many if you want to get people angry.
Yeah, just
all
like,
the Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Oh, they're such trash. The control is horrendous on those games. Don't even start. Like, the control is horrendous. I hate those games. And no, they're not too hard for me. No. They're just not good. I tried to put up with them and enjoy them, but they're not good games. Sorry. They're just not.
Really not a big Dark Souls.
Oh, I'm not. Those games are so bad. They're just the games that are so overrated. Like, they're not the worst games, but they're not nearly as good as everybody says they are. Same thing with the Final Fantasy series.
Oh.
Get out of town. Those games suck.
Oh, man.
But I'm not a big RPG person. I don't play a game for story. I read a book for a story, or I watch a movie for a story. That's not why I play a game. I play a game for competition, for a challenge, for a high score. So it's a different thing.
You're a real player.
Yeah. I play games for the game part of it. I don't play to sit there and talk to some spiky-haired kid for an hour and a half. Sorry, not my thing. So yeah, Final Fantasy.
Anyone else you want to offend me? Because you just
you
went
I love this. I love doing this.
Okay.
I could think there's so many more. So yeah, I just don't like the stuff that is not gamey. The less gamey it is, the less I like it. But I'm not saying they're bad things or bad experiences, but they're bad games. So they're bad video games. That's my opinion. I don't like a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't like Call of Duty. It's just, you know, it's a thing.
So what would you say? Oh, I forgot to ask this. I know we're going over time.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about like the turn of esports?
I'm making people upset.
It's cool. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
But like, do you think like the fact that it's becoming like so mainstream with esports, like obviously you have the different gaming what's the leagues, right? You have the Call of Duty League, right? Is I think one of the bigger ones right now. But like, what do you think about esports in general? Do you think that will ever make its turn so that it picks up retro, where retro becomes something, or would that not be a thing?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will eventually, and some of it has kind of gotten there. Like I was talking about the Tetris World Championships and how they use the garbage version of Tetris for that. If they ever switch to the real version of Tetris, maybe that'll gain some popularity.
That's the key.
Whatever, it's kind of popular, but really, I think the key to it is finding the right games to feature. Because so many games, the reason I think Tetris is a good example for it, I think Street Fighter is good, and fighting games in general are good, is because a person who doesn't normally play the games or is not normally into that game, they can watch it. You see, hey, this guy has this life bar, this guy has this life bar, or this guy has this many lines on his Tetris board, this guy has this many lines. It's easy to see who is winning. I mean, if you're watching basketball, the person with the higher score is, the team with the higher score is winning. So it's just hard if you're watching like, was it League of Legends or all these games that I don't understand as an old person? You don't know who's ahead. It's just some guy talking really fast, commentating on it, and you're just seeing like all these things on the screen. not knowing really what's happening.
The fans are really people who have to be playing anyway.
Yeah, so to expand it, you have to either make a game where it's easy, like a new game, where it's easy to see who is ahead, and it's easy for, Joe Schmo, who's never played a game before, to see what's happening and make it and have it be exciting for him.
So for it to get past where it is.
Yeah. I know, in China or whatever, League of Legends, all that crap is really, it's really popular. That's because everybody there plays. But in the U.S., the closest you can get is Call of Duty or Madden, and there are people like me who think that those games are trash. So, for me to like it, it's going to take more. Yeah. I watch fighting games. I play competitive fighting games. I go to the tournaments. I play in the tournaments. I enjoy it, and they get good viewership. Like I'm planning on going to Evo this year to play and to watch. Evo's the big fighting game championship every year. So it's big, but it's not mainstream big in the U.S. at least. Right. And I think it's going to take something else that visually is simple to understand. And the fact that the systems and everything are getting that much more advanced, games are starting to look
real.
They've been harder. It's been harder to see what's going on because the more effects you add and the more stuff that's there on the screen, the more difficult it is for my grandma to look at it and know what's happening. Yeah. My grandma loves basketball. She knows what's happening in basketball because she can see the score. Right. And it's just she's not going to watch League of Legends.
Make the scores somehow more relatable, even if they keep the games, right?
Yeah, just have a way to tell who's in the lead, to know what's going on, and I think it could catch on more than it has already.
Is there?
I think that's what it's going to take.
Is there any game new coming out that you're like, you know what, maybe that could be good?
For esports?
No, for anything.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't hate all new stuff. Yeah. Just most of it. I like a lot of the Nintendo stuff still. I loved Legend of Zelda, I said, the last one. I'm looking forward to the new Zelda, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Yeah. On PS4, I loved Dying Light, the zombie game Dying Light. That game was amazing. I'm looking forward to that sequel. And it just got pushed back, unfortunately. Yeah. Everyone cares that the new Final Fantasy VII Remake got pushed back. I don't give a crap. I care that the new Dying Light got pushed back. Give me my new Dying Light. Oh, man. But there's maybe one or two games a year that come out that are new that I really care about.
Have you seen previews for Cyberpunk? I know you're not an RPG fan.
Yeah. No, Cyberpunk looks cool. Yeah. It's cool for what it is. Am I going to play it? Probably not. Yeah. But I'd like to, watch it.
I think that's one of the few games I'm going to try to take time out for.
Yeah. No, I would give it a try. I'm not saying I would definitely hate it. I just probably won't like it because it's just one of those kind of games. Right. And it's not that I hate stories. It's just,
you like to read them.
I prefer to read a story. And so this is the best analogy for this that I've ever heard. I'll stop ranting about things that I don't like.
Right. I'm going to try to get you to defend one more group before we go.
So I don't know if this is going to offend people, but so the best analogy I ever heard, somebody told me once that, and this is the opinion that I agree with, that video games are like porn. Yeah. There's a story there, but that's not the important part of what's going on. The story is not the important part of it, but it's better when there's a good story there. Yeah. You might be more into it, but to me, the important part of it is not the story. Gosh. I don't know if that offends people who love story in their porn. Yeah. But it's not super important to me.
The analogy breaks due to the fact that retro isn't as popular.
Yeah, I only like the retro games, I would say. Though I don't know if I've seen a lot of retro porn.
Yeah, let's just assume probably not.
You have to go. You have to go in the woods and find old videotapes and magazines that are just trash in the woods.
That's
where you go for retro porn. You go to the woods. The woods. You got to find the woods.
So retro games here, retro porn in the woods. Got it.
Yeah. All right, that's what you do. That's what you do.
Well, I'm sure we offended some people there. But, all right, one more.
I do my plugs for Burger Joint and The Woods. Those are my two plugs besides my shop. Burger Joint and The Woods.
The Woods pays.
Everyone go to the Woods.
The Woods affiliate program pays well. So one last thing to see if you can offend some people.
Yes, let's do it. More people.
Elder Scrolls overrated.
I think accurately rated.
Accurately
Yeah,
rated.
like
okay.
again, I'm not too into it.
Yeah.
Because I think the gameplay is kind of clunky and I don't know. I kind of feel like a dork when I play it.
Right,
but
right.
like I don't know. It's a little clunky for me. But I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's not like I can't really appreciate Final Fantasy. I can appreciate Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
It's not in me to appreciate Final Fantasy, I don't think.
Just
Maybe
not
the
in
older
you.
ones, like, the ones on Nintendo and Super Nintendo I can appreciate, but
Yeah.
those new ones I can't appreciate them. But yeah, Elder Scrolls, it doesn't offend me. Like The Witcher doesn't offend me.
Doesn't offend you.
I don't hate them. So
I'm trying to find more groups.
oh no, there'll be more. I'm sure.
There's got to be something else I could end on that's really gonna piss someone off. You already said Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't hate those games either.
Okay, let's see. What type of person plays Sims?
Girls. Girl persons.
Girl
Girl
person.
persons play Sims.
Girl persons, the female folk.
Yeah, I mean it's a digital dollhouse, and that's cool. Like I used to play with my Masters of the Universe He-Man characters. It was like a dollhouse. Give me Sims, like Masters of the Universe Sims, where I'm making He-Man and Man-at-Arms like hang out in Castle Grayskull and like have them talk to the sorceress and ride Cringer around as Battle Cat. Like I'm down for boy Sims. But
boy Sims.
Yeah, but girl Sims, having your little dollhouse, that's cool. But it's a girl game.
Got you.
It's a girl game.
You just offended.
It's cool. Girls. Offended girls.
All right, we'll go
There's
out
nothing
on
wrong
that.
with it, though.
We'll go out on that then.
I love girls.
Perfect. So, thank you, Dave. Replay games. This was a good discussion. I know we went continuously off topic.
Come get offended. Come buy
offended.
some old games.
And come get your ass beat at Mortal Kombat
Yes,
too.
that too. And 722 West 19th Street, Houston, Texas.
Near the Woods.
Near the Woods, very close to the Woods. You can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. And
not really near the Woods, I'm sorry. Near Burger Joint though, you can get a burger.
And remember, all your bases
belong to us?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, guys. Talk to you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Real quick, we're adding this in because I did not get this question asked.
I did not get it answered. That's my fault.
No, we're both trash. We're both, just like the games you mentioned.
Exactly. We are not as good as the Woods. So a game that you might have sitting in a closet that might be worth something.
Yeah.
Stuff like if you had siblings who ever played in the Nintendo World Championships in the early 90s, that Nintendo World Championships cartridge that some people got for free at the event, that thing's worth multiple thousands.
Okay.
So some people might have that one lying in an old shoebox. So look through your shoeboxes for Nintendo World Championships.
What about games that people might have that they play that are a couple $100s?
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, all kinds of good stuff. I mean, the easy ones are stuff like Conker's Bad Fur Day on N64. That one's about almost $100. Stuff we talked about before, like Smash Bros. On GameCube. That one's like $80. The N64 Smash Bros. Is about $90. So there's a lot of stuff that's like still actively played. That's that's worth a decent amount.
So actively played or low supply.
Yeah.
But just anything, because at the very least, Dave will not do you like GameStop.
At the least.
At the least.
And you can always bring in whatever you have and trade it in towards something else. I'm always very fair with the store credit I offer. There's a reason I have so much good stuff in the shop. Everything in the shop has been a trade-in.
Oh, wow.
Every single thing here has been traded in at the shop. I don't do online nonsense. I don't go to garage sales and flea markets to get this stuff. It's all trade-ins at the shop.
That's epic.
So it
online nonsense.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. None of that online nonsense.
Modern online nonsense. Amazons and eBays.
Is for nerds.
It's for dorks. Who's online?
Who's online
these days?
Right.
Nobody.
And on that, we're gonna disconnect a second time. See you on the next episode. Bye.